Hey guys, welcome to the think tank. So we were talking there and chat a little bit about CrimeCon. I'd love to go next year. And Shauna, you were saying you think it might be in Nashville? Ooh, I would love to go to Nashville. There's lots of history in that little town. And I'd love to go to Memphis. So I think I'm going to start watching to see when it is next year and maybe just book it. Got to get my passport. But you know what? I'd really, really like to go, and if a bunch of us went, it would be awesome. Did she? Nice. Ethan Chapin's mom. Unreal. So sad. Oh, you're like the rest of us, FARQ. I only do it when I absolutely have to. And when I do go out, I prefer to hit the bush and walk in the creeks and, collect wildflowers and rocks and sticks and whatever else. Yeah, passport. I think they're pretty fast now, not like it was before where it would take forever. I think now, at least in Canada, you can go right to the office and have it done pretty damn fast. I don't have anything that would prevent me. Hubby doesn't either. So I think that would be a great reason to go to the US. If a person's going to go, there's a clip I shared in the Idaho tab on Discord brought tears to my eyes. 4 a.m. with 4 big dogs. What kind of dogs do you have? Love the dogs. A clip I shared in the Idaho tab in Discord brought tears to my eyes. Is that going to be Ethan's? Let's see here. I'll take a quick look. There hasn't been a lot happening with that case, so I haven't been looking at it for a little while. I've got to get back into it. There's like right now with all this stuff going on with these documents that have come out, it's thrown a loop. So I've been doing a lot of thinking on that, and I don't know. I don't trust the defense, and I know that's probably not the best thing to say, but I don't. Stacy Chapman shocks CrimeCon. Is that the one, friend? Well, hello, James. Yeah, it's I have a thing for hats. Oh, I have to start doing that, Chopper. That's like, yeah, that's what I need to get into. I made myself like hurl once doing that. It was the most bizarre thing. I was meditating and pretending I was like in water, kind of a mermaid, dress yourself all up and go for a swim. And then I started adding colors to the fish and stuff. And oh my God, I got sick. I didn't know that could happen. So, there's also, okay, we've got this case with Delphi that just had this 136-page glitch thrown in. But, I don't know US laws. I don't know them state to state. I don't know which is federal. But by the sounds of it, I've been watching a lot of people yesterday. I mean, I've been sick. So yesterday I just was on the couch trying to learn as much as I could. And, nobody is really threatened by that memorandum. Even these educated people are saying this is the defense's job. It sounds like mumbo jumbo, but basically all they're doing with that paperwork is telling you their perception of what they saw. So, I mean, that can vary. And they are saying, if this Leggett or whatever, if he was honestly lying I don't they haven't said what that would do to the document, but I think he would have issues, um, for lying on our legal document. Yeah, yeah. I like to go, I like to go under some of the waterfalls around here, and yeah, so I'll sit by the mist and, let the mist hit my face, and then just imagine myself I relax and swim around, and yeah, it's calming. It's very calming, unless you start adding colors to fish and stuff. I thought, "Oh, I could add, like, all those colors from when I was, like, in the Caribbean, those fish, oh, they're beautiful." But, yeah, when I started adding colors, it just yeah, I had to stop. I was getting dizzy and it's like, "Oh, didn't know that could happen." But reasonable doubt does mean any doubt. It has to be evidence-based, yes. What they were saying was that, for an example, the position these sticks were on, they're saying that is based on interpretation because to some people, it looks like they started to throw sticks on them and thought, okay, I'm not going to bother. That's not going to do anything. So we'll have to see. Yeah. Yeah. Mm. Yeah, it is. It's all about letting go of your thoughts and just giving your mind a break. Yeah, absolutely. So, doesn't mean sorry. Doesn't mean it's evidence. I know. I know, James. That's kind of where I'm sitting, friend. It's just really, I went through that document. I read the whole thing. That's what I use it for, Chopper. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. That and CBD. um, it's too much of a stretch for me, James. Like, really? Are you really telling me they're saying that after 15 days, they just eliminated this. Well, that means in 15 days, they took a serious look at it, in my opinion, and they decided it was ridiculous and didn't go down that road. They were even saying, like, when I seen a drawing of what was on the tree, there was literally what I seen, there was no kind of anything drawn with a stick or a finger or anything. It was splatter. Could you make an F out of the splatter? Probably. Could you make a T or an R? Probably. Again, it's kinda yeah, me too, Dandy. Me too. But you know what? The CBD is really good for, like, doing this, and so is indica. I'm an indica girl. Smoke it if you got it. Oh, is that right? Isn't that something? Okay. I could believe there's a ritualistic element to the crime, but to say it's specifically Odinist, it's not plausible. It isn't. And, I've even seen people giving out the names of all these guys, and they're researching and they're digging into their lives. And it's like, no. And they're literally saying their names on their videos, on their lives of these supposed Odinists. I did. I eliminated all the names, all the yucky, because really, these guys have not been charged. There is no reason for people to start indica in the couch, right? Yeah, it does make you feel normal, FARQ. Yeah. Yeah, I'm sure if I didn't have any, people would think I was, like, sick. Breakfast burrito and off I go. So, I wanna talk about that a little bit and, the effect it might have on the case because I believe we're gonna hear from the prosecution and our thoughts are gonna be totally different. Right now they've got us, kind of what? Doubting things a little bit, questioning a few things, and I don't know. I think that they were eliminated the first time for a reason, you know? I don't believe from what I've heard from law enforcement that these sticks were placed, but a lot of people believe they were, and if they were oh, yeah, absolutely, FARQ. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, Panic of the '80s. Yeah, it's just something else. Sorry, I got it. I'm probably the only one sitting with a fly swatter on the when they're doing lives, back doors open, straight to the chinchillas. So, yeah, I wanna go over that, and then there's also this Flora fire where those 4 little girls passed away. I don't think that it's got anything to do with the Delphi case at all, but I wanna take a look at it, and we'll just see what you guys think. I've got pretty much all of the documents at this point, and I've read most of them. What are they walking around with all proud? What are you guys gonna do? What do you got? Oh, no, 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 you can't have that. Why? No, give me the clicker. Oh my God. You can't do that. No. Ah, she thinks she's gonna get a cookie for that. So, anyways, this Flora, these 4 girls, they didn't make it out of this fire. The mom did for a while. Everybody thought the mom had something to do with it because she got out of the fire. But we've got Doug Carter, who is also in charge of this case. So, what he's done with this case, which is really interesting, is he has also shut down the information like the Delphi. Nobody is getting information now. So, I don't know if this is just the way he does things. Okay, give me 2 seconds. What are you guys into? No, you stay out of my stuff. Sorry, guys. God only knows. Yeah, biscuits are the clicker. So they thought this mother did this for a while, and then Doug Carter said, no, she is not a suspect. She left that area within a month of this happening. And it sounds like she even, this is the way I understood it, is that she even watched the ceremony on like Skype or one of those things. Yeah. 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 It was a cult. There would have been many people coming forward to speak up in the cult a long time ago. We're just not hearing about a cult and we have to believe it. Yeah. Yeah. I think that I think for whatever reason that yeah, they're hiding stuff and I just do not know why. I don't know why they feel everything has to be so confidential. So we're going on 7 years. This was it's not giving the date, but I think this was last year's. So Flora fire unsolved 6 years later, family of 4 girls still seeking justice. Family members mourning the girls' lives are expressing frustration at the investigation progress and how it's being handled by police. Okay, I'm not sure what this is. Oh, yeah, that's why it's muted. Yeah, a lot of these lawyers and cops and let's see here.
Lost their lives here in Flora, but this year it's much more than sadness. Family members are frustrated. Time hasn't touched.
They literally have no idea who did this. The family and everyone around is saying that they shouldn't have had a target on them. And somehow they're saying that the kitchen got the most. At first, they thought it was maybe a fridge and an electrical issue. And then they're thinking next is that there was some kind of accelerant used, possibly thrown all around the kitchen.
The tragedy painfully preserved at the corner of Columbia and Division Streets in Flora, a home still burned and broken where someone intentionally set a fire and took 4 young lives.
I don't come over here because I don't want to see this.
Although police
So that's her aunt, the sister, I do believe.
say it isn't a cold case, 6 years hasn't solved the arson or dulled the pain for family.
I'm going to go back a little bit. So the girls, sadly, their bedroom was up top here. This is where their bedroom was. And it was a rental property, and the fire extinguisher didn't work.
Or dulled the pain for family.
I wear their names every day. Keone, Kiriel, Kiara, and Kiana for justice. My nieces were happy, full of life, didn't want to do nothing but go to school and be with their friends and, go to cheerleading. And I was looking at a cheerleading video the other day, and they were happy.
Their loss brings more than sadness now. There's also anger. Jackie claims they.
So I think they are able to now. I think they're going to demolish the house. It's just been sitting there, and I think they were trying to preserve it just in case it was solved. But it sounds like they have taken, over the past 7 years, they have taken everything out of there that has to be out of there. Again, when these tragedies happen, mow it down and make some kind of bench, nice little park area where these girls would have loved to play and other kids would love to play.
They haven't heard from detectives in years, and she's upset that police early on said her family wasn't cooperating.
That's a lie. And I want them to know they're not doing anything for us. We've trusted the system, and the system has failed.
Jackie also feels her niece's investigation has not been handled equally when compared to nearby Delphi.
We're angry.
So there's only 3 months difference between when this fire happened and when the Delphi, Abby and Libby, were attacked. I believe this was 3 months previous.
Not only because they haven't done anything, but because of the differences in the 2 cases. We were here first, and nobody seemed to give a damn.
State police in a statement tell 13 News they continue to investigate leads. Family just wants this arsonist caught.
We're going to get justice. We're going to get it. Because somebody.
Yeah, and they're saying it was not a targeted attack. At least they cannot figure out what somebody may have had against that family.
They ain't going to be able to live with themselves too long.
In Flora, Jenny Renovich, 13 News.
Yeah. Heartbreaking. So on November 21st, 2016, someone set fire to a home in Flora. 4 young sisters passed away. A couple of months after the fire, investigators confirmed they found accelerants in the home. But 6 years later, they still haven't found the arsonist. Family members mourning the girls' lives are experiencing frustration at the investigation's progress and how it's being handled by the police. They've been saying for far too long without answers. The house in the corner of Columbia and David Street has burn marks on the siding, broken windows, boarded up doors, and boxes of toys on the front porch. There's also 4 candles and 4 crosses at the home where someone intentionally set a fire and took 4 young girls' lives. So the great aunt, Jacqueline Partlow, and I think that's who we just seen here, she lives in nearby Delphi. I don't come over here very often. I don't want to see this, she said, staring at the house. Well, hell no. Hell no. Indiana State Police say this is not a cold case. 6 years hasn't solved the arson or dulled the pain for the family. I wear their names every day. We need to hear their names, Partlow said, pulling out a bracelet from her wrist. Kiana, Kiara, Cariel, and Kiani for justice. My nieces were happy and full of life. They didn't want to do anything but go to school and be with their friends and go cheerleading. People are getting angry. No answers. And I did look at all of the autopsies, and it was literally, inhalation. So there, she did say while we were just watching that she has not heard from any of them, have not heard from detectives in years. And she's upset that the police early on had said her family was not cooperating fully with the investigation. And she out and out said, that's a lie. We heard her. And the system has failed her. Paltrow is friends with the family members of Abby and Libby, and she's thrilled about the arrest in the case, but the attention and investigation says has been different in Flora. We're angry, not only because they haven't done anything, but because the differences in the 2 cases. We were here first. Nobody seems to give a damn.
Today marks 6 years since a house fire in Flora, Indiana took the lives of 4 young sisters. All this time and still no arrest, but state police have said they will not give up. Samantha Johnson is in Flora this morning with where that investigation stands. Sam?
Well, Julia, this house still stands on the corner of Columbia and Division Streets, and it's here where these 4 young...
It is so sad to think that that has been up for all of these years. I do worry because, people might go into these places and there is a lot of what I call biohazards in places that people have passed. So it's not a safe place for people to break into and do whatever it is they do. And it's just like duck sitting there. It's heartbreaking.
Girls are still honored today. If you take a closer look here at the candles that line the front steps of this home, one with each of their names on it: 11-year-old Kiana Davis, 9-year-old Kiara Phillips, 7-year-old Cariel McDonald, and 5-year-old Kiani Welch. This morning,
And another thing that they said in the autopsies is that the girls were all in great health, well taken care of, clean, brushed teeth, all the stuff. The mother was a good mother.
investigation into exactly what happened here 6 years ago is still active and ongoing. That's according to Indiana State Police. In fact, Superintendent Doug Carter told our Bob Siegel
I think what I've learned is I would probably not have my child up high where they're trapped. You don't think of these things, but they were trapped up there.
came here on his way to Delphi last month before announcing an arrest in that case. Superintendent Carter says the Delphi murders and this house fire are 2 very different cases, but both...
Isn't it interesting that Doug Carter is in charge of both of these cases, and both of these cases, they're not giving any information. Let's see here. Check this out. I got that, but thank you very, very much.
Both tragic loss of life in very young people. This was top of mind when Carter visited this house 3 weeks ago today.
I sat across the street in that gravel lot and looked at that house that has the same exact remnants of a fire that we saw now almost 6 years ago this month. Boarded windows and black soot on the outside. And it just broke my heart that it was still there because I hadn't seen it in some time.
Superintendent Carter says he hopes he can soon make an announcement here in Flora, just like he did over in Delphi. Now,
So what do you guys think about all of this tight-lipped stuff, not telling anybody anything? Is this making any sense to you? Why? Because, I mean, from what we've seen, it causes confusion and rumors.
for this case, Indiana State Police say they are actively investigating every tip that comes in. This tip line is still open, and there is still a reward up to $5,000 for any information.
They need to boost that up. What is $5,000 for 4 kids? Like, are you kidding me? That doesn't even bury one of them. Unreal.
Leading to an arrest in this case. By the way, you can leave an anonymous tip, and we will have that link for you on our website, WTHR.
Yeah. So let's see here. State Police says it has and will continue to use all resources available to us in an effort to solve this crime. This has been an ongoing investigation. Detectives continue to investigate all tips and leads that are received. Indiana State Fire Marshal also has a reward of up to $5,000 for information that leads to an arrest and conviction. Family members are still confident the person responsible will be found. They want the arsonist caught so their family can find peace. We're going to get justice, and we're going to we're going to get justice. We're going to get it, Partlow said, because somebody isn't going to be able to live with themselves. I certainly hope so. I hope that is the case. You know? Oh my God. Hey, Melissa. You know what? That's the thing. How do you solve a crime when nobody knows anything? How does the public help? You know, I do understand that some things have to be kept close. I understand that. But some of the silly little things that they keep from the public, I mean, share it. You got a better chance of people recognizing a person smelling this, or just, you have to give more. Let's see, I'm just going up, guys. Yeah, if deliberate, it had to be targeted. It almost, I don't see it any other way. Yeah, I don't see it any other way. This is why animals are better than people. Yep. We're also like-minded in here. I love it. Was this a hate crime? So they did look into that. I've gone through the documents, and they do not believe that is the case. If you want, we can take a look at those, but they don't think so at this point. So what was the cause of the fire? They're saying that there was an accelerant used. I don't know what the accelerant was. And the fire started inside the house. They're saying it started in the kitchen, that they believe that's where the accelerant was put, on the cupboards, walls, everywhere in there. Oh, I'm so sorry. Oh, my, so sorry. Oh. Yeah, and I do have their paperwork as well. Don't like two-story places. I'm in our house is, two-story, but I would jump. I would jump. I would do it. Yeah, deepest condolences for Q. Yeah, they ask the public for help, but don't give out any information. We've been seeing that through the Delphi case, haven't we? I think the mom is now in Florida. Were you? You were just allowed to go in? And FARQ, that's kind of what they're looking at. A couple different articles that I've seen, they're saying like there has to be a cover up. But you know, they're saying that about Delphi too. But what I find interesting is it's both Doug Carter. Makes sense that the investigators should be let go. Yeah. Yeah. Very sorry you had to go through that. Probably have a press conference and quote some of the random book that means nothing to anyone but himself. Can't stand him. You can't solve a crime without giving some information to help with solving the case. Exactly. Exactly. And they talk riddles. Hey, Melissa. That's the point. Do they want it solved? Exactly. Or do they or don't they? 4 little girls. Like, disturbing. Disturbing. Let's see. I'll take a look. I'll bring up. So there was an anonymous letter sent in. And they just call it the whistleblower. There's no names. But let's take a look. And I've got the fire logs as well. So this letter comes from somebody in the area. She or he didn't leave their names. They're just saying what they believe happened that day. If petrol is used, then you're looking for someone carrying a jerry can. Yeah. Oh, yeah, I'd be jumping. I'd be jumping right out of there. Yeah. Oh, I'd be jumping. I'm not too high. So, guys, anybody interested in going to CrimeCon next year? Yeah. Yeah. Jump, tuck, and roll. Jump, tuck, and roll. She's sweet. We just got the girls' tombstones. Raise money for them. Oh, good job. Yeah, they can be scary. Ours has got a deck off of it, like a big deck. And then both of our windows, like it's 2 bedrooms up there. And well, one's going to be probably my closet. And then the other one will be where we're sleeping. But we've got a window that goes out to like another roof. So it would be like very safe. Very safe. And I wouldn't care. I'd break a leg. No, what they did is they took them to the fire department and put them on the floor there. Usually they make up like a mock area, get a tent or something and bring the victims out, lay them there so a coroner can come look at them. But for whatever reason, they took them to the fire station. Well, they're not saying that. They're not looking at it as a hate crime. There must be a motive somewhere. Yeah. I really do not know how hard they're looking into this because they literally have nothing on them. I have seen, I think maybe one suspect get cleared. Oh, is that right? Is that right? Okay, James. See you soon. Do you know what? I think it's all baby steps. Just baby steps. Even if it's one step at a time. No ladder on the fire trucks. They smashed the window now. Fire needs oxygen. One, worst things to do to people to start where they're screaming. Me, I would have gone in and tried. I would have gone in to try to help, not just watch. Yeah. They took him to the fire station. Isn't that amazing? Like, what? So I'll read this to you. This is from what they say is they call a whistleblower. And this was part of the documents that were in this case. So they've got name and everything up here redacted. And it's got a lot of information in this little thing. So let's do it. Hydrate. So it says, I have some information I'd like to share with you regarding the deadly house fire on November 21st, 2016, located in the 100 block of East Columbia Street, Flora, Indiana, postal code. News agencies reported Carroll County Sheriff's Officer Drew Yoder and Flora Police Officer Josh Dissinger was the first to arrive on the scene of a working residential house fire. The officers attempted to make entry into the burning structure to rescue the occupants inside. The rescue attempt was unsuccessful due to the heavy smoke involved and resulted in both officers requiring medical assistance for the injuries they sustained. Later, Officer Drew Yoder was recognized for his heroic effort with his attempt to save 4 girls, and Officer Josh Dissinger cited as a hero, recruiting Officer Yoder, assisting him out of the burning residence. What was not reported? Flora Fire Department already had a fire engine and firefighters on the scene. Officer Yoder, on his own accord, disregarding fire department orders to stay out of the way, grabbed an SCBA off the Flora truck and placed it on his body before he entered the burning structure. Officer Yoder did not have any other fire department issued PPE on at the time, nor is he a member of the Flora Police Department. Fire Department. Officer Yoder is a member of another fire department located in Carroll County. Officer Yoder, as a trained firefighter, he should have never entered the burning structure without proper gear and by himself. Sometime during the Officer Yoder's attempt rescue, his face mask came on and he was overcome with smoke inhalation. Officer Dissinger ran inside to assist Yoder's retreat, disregarding firefighters' request to stay out. A seasoned Flora firefighter was on the scene with all PPE attire, assisted both Yoder and Dissinger to safety. The actions of these 2 officers compromised and delayed rescue efforts to the firefighters to the 4 girls. EMS on the scene focused all their efforts and time to evaluate and treat both law enforcement officers, delaying treatment to the other victims. Firefighters eventually made rescue attempts after clearing the obstruction of both officers to the girls, bringing each one outside. EMS on the scene could not revive after focusing their treatment for both officers. So they couldn't revive the 4 girls after treating both the officers. All 4 bodies were removed from the scene and transported to Flora Fire Department garage floor. This was conducted before Carroll County coroner could arrive on the scene. The removal and transportation of the bodies before a coroner initially conducts his investigation is a violation of Indiana code. Fire personnel are trained to make a temporary morgue setting, minimizing the view of the bodies from the public. Why did they choose to ignore their own training or follow proper procedures? Their bodies then being placed on a concrete floor of the fire department's floor of the fire station, compromised any forensic evidence that might have been present. First fire investigation occurred immediately after extinguishment, salvage, and initial overhaul preparations were completed. Fire investigators from responding mutual aid departments assisted Flora Fire Department investigators. Their initial investigation determined 1, origin of the fire behind the refrigerator, commenting that the refrigerator was a possible cause. The firefighters initially investigated this fire from multiple fire departments located in Carroll County and were trained investigators from a former Carroll County Fire Investigation Task Force. Law enforcement reported later an accelerant was detected on Officer Yoder's clothing that was retrieved from the hospital. The accelerant detected could be from cross combination from the SCBA he was wearing, the face shield, mask, and air fittings get cleaned and sanitized after every use. The bottles and straps, webbing, and cushions are very seldom get cleaned from fire to fire. Cross-contamination could potentially exist between clothing and equipment. Investigation of the house fire continues days and weeks later. During this time, the house was never properly secured from day one. Certain civilians were seen coming and going from inside of that residence. Josh Aries was one of them. So, side note, Josh Aries is the owner of the house. Josh Aries, former president of Flora Town Board. John Aries, owner of Maytag Appliances Sales Distributor in Carroll County. Josh Ayers, owner of Flora and Delphi True Value Hardware stores. Josh Ayers provides many used appliances he receives from customers throwing out their old appliances from his Maytag business to his rental properties. Josh Ayers sold a used refrigerator to Flora Fire Department that quit working shortly afterwards and was then replaced with new from a different vendor because he could not make it right. Would not make right by it. Josh Ayers, Flora Town Board president, approved an invoice in the amount of $2,275 for legal representation to Fire Chief Adam Randall during the law enforcement interview October 16th through October 19th. Adam Randall, son of Dennis Randall, former Indiana State Fire investigator. Adams was truly affected by this fire. At one time, he changed his name on Facebook to a Muslim name and tattooed his entire back with images stemming from this fire. Holy. I know he was withholding information about this fire and he was slowly spiraling downhill because of it. The guilt he is experiencing is eating him up alive. Why would the fire chief need legal representation? I would think that police and fire departments share the same goal: justice for those 4 girls. Why are my tax dollars being spent for this? Not one town board representative will answer this question. Current fire chief Todd Trent is also withholding information, being so close with both Adam and Dennis Randall. He chooses his words very carefully not to reveal the truth. Officer Todd Trent assisted each firefighter who gave a written statement about the fire on what to write and what not to report. Feels like the town has a dark secret and no one wants the truth revealed. A peer review was conducted by Indianapolis Fire Department. What they don't know is they received revised documents instead of originals for their investigation. I reside here in this small community. I must remain anonymous. Oh, my word. Oh, my word. So, let's see here. So this is what they call the narrative. It's 1 page, big chunk of it's redacted, but we will go through it. So do you guys think that any of this is being hidden? Hello, Mexi. Good to see you, friend. Yeah, okay. He is shady. Why would they? Yeah. Why would they? I don't know why they would take them and put them on a cement floor in the fire station. Hello, Douglas. Good to see you, friend. Yeah, it smells like caca all the way around. No, Dandy, me either. Never heard of people being taken to a firehouse in all my years. Okay, so we'll go through this and it'll give us a little bit more information. Okay, so what has happened is 2 guys did go into that fire, but they were not wearing the proper PPE. So they ended up getting knocked down. And then they ended up injured and were pulled out and had to be treated before they could go in and help these young girls. It's messed up. Okay, author, Senior Trooper G. Edwards. This was created on December 15th of 2016. So there was photos taken, 2 iPads with a protective outer shell believed to be blue in color taken from an upstairs bedroom, 1 iPhone with what I believe to be a pink and green protective shell taken from upstairs bedroom shelf near a doorway on the west wall. On December 1st, 2016, I was contacted by prosecutor Rob Ives. He stated that there had been a fire located at 103 East Columbia Street on November 21st, 2016, which resulted in the passing of 4 children and the injury of 3 adults, to include the mother of the children and the 2 officers, Drew Yoder and Josh Dissinger. December 6th, 2016, I met with SFM Dennis Randall at the Lafayette ISP post. He briefed me on the incident and the course of the investigation to date and showed me photos and scans of the residence created by CSI Scott Gilbert of the Indiana State Police. He said that on December 8th, 2016, he had investigators to include ATF, Sergeant or / Agent Whitaker, CSI Gilbert, Detective Tony Liggett. Oh, okay. Who's back? Of Carroll County and investigators for the insurance company would be at 103 East Columbia Street to continue testing and examining. So it's interesting. While I was going through all of this, is the names that are all so similar. Yeah, like we've got what's his name now? Liggett, Tony Liggett is back. And we know that Doug Carter is back. So December 8th, 2016, I traveled to 103 East Columbia Street and met with CFM Randall, as well as the above-mentioned personnel. I walked through the scene, observing the damages and familiarizing myself with the remains of the home. While I examined the upstairs bedrooms where the children were found, I located 2 iPads and an iPhone. The iPads were located on the floor at the bottom bunk near the east window, exterior window of the bedroom. The iPhone was located on a shelf on the south wall, just above the top bunk near the doorway to enter the room. I collected these 3 items for safekeeping and potential examination for a later date. I took exterior photographs of the home and appeared to have and the locations of the iPads and iPhone. From my personal observation, the back utility room of the house appeared to have sustained the most damage, with wood surfaces being deeply burned. The kitchen appears to be the next most damaged room, with all surfaces appearing to be equally burned and all exposed appliances damaged. Items located inside the cupboard appeared to have been protected from some of the heat, causing water pipes, drains, and small appliances, crockpot, even a bag of potatoes, to remain undamaged. The dining room floor appeared damaged with some fire damage to the surfaces. The lower stairs of the staircase and lower walls appeared to be heat damaged, but as I progressed up the stairs, the heat damage was present but not appear to penetrate as significantly as it did downstairs. Heat damage was present, particularly in the fixture that held a fire alarm. Isn't that wild? The top of the stairs, the middle of the ceiling, the exterior portions of this fire alarm had melted. The electronic board for the alarm now laid on the floor below the remaining melted plastic. SFM Randall pointed out the contacts for the battery, and there was no battery present inside. And they don't give us any more than that. Oh my goodness, this case. So what do you guys think? Are we seeing, I mean, other than we've got Doug Carter and we've got Liggett, are we finding, do you think there's any similarities? I'm really not. In my mind, I think it's two different things. Oh, were you watching us back then? I do remember you. Actually, I do. Welcome back. Yeah, I do remember you as soon as I seen your picture there. Yeah, crab walking Cavalcante. You're in the best chat you will find. I promise you. Why has the fire department got the wrong equipment? There's a lot of things. I mean, they didn't go in with all their PPE on. Like that's a big boo-boo. That's a very big boo-boo. Yeah, it's a small world around there. I mean, some of them even know Becky Patty. If you went down the rabbit hole, in my opinion, the Warrens would meet way down deep. Eric Bana. I don't know if I know that person. But I do absolutely remember that. That was crazy. That was a crazy, crazy time. Oh, is he, Mexi? So I just really am not seeing a connection. This happened 3 months before Delphi, and very, very little has been done about this case. I don't know why, but I mean, it's $5,000, guys, is all that reward is at. Like, are you kidding me? Who's going to do what for $5,000? I can't see that encouraging anybody. Court order, Flora home of the fire that 4 children perished in is going to be demolished. So nearly 7 years. So this was August 16th. This is a little bit more recent. I went back. I wanted to know what was happening at the very beginning of this case. I wanted to know who responded, how they responded. Well, hello, Perry. Oh, did he, Perry? Oh, now that I'm interested in. That would be good. Chopper was one of my faves. Oh, I remember him very well. Actually, I did a live on him. Maybe it was a video. But it's on my other channel. And yeah, he just is like, he was something else, wasn't he? That was a character. Okay, so being demolished. Why would you let this sit 6 years? Like, kids don't get into that. I can promise you, kids would get into that. Order that was filed on August 16th, so this is this year, stated that the parties involved confirmed there was no need to continue preservation of the property. I went on to say the parties nor the court had objected to the raising of the damaged property. The home had been the spotlight for years after the 4 girls were unalived in the deadly fire. To this day, no official suspect has been identified. Oh my God. Next thing you know, they're going to say Odinus did it. You watch. Come on. Oh my word. That document, literally, I have thought about it since it came out. And it just drives me crazy, those 136 pages. I don't believe it. I cannot wrap my head around all of that. And doing stuff like this in the middle of the day, none of it makes sense. Nah. So, previous reports explained that the fire was determined not to be caused by an electrical malfunction. 2 months after the November 16th fire, the blaze was classified as an arson. I'm just going to do this real quick. Oh, my word. So, let's see here. Previous reports explained that the fire was determined not to be caused by an electrical. In May 2013, the Indiana State Police Superintendent Doug Carter surprised Fox crews when he admitted that Galen Rose, the girls' mothers, she was not considered a suspect. So as it goes, you know how it works. They're all over there saying, oh, it was the mother. It was the mother. So 6 years later, Carter says, no, she has nothing to do with this. Not quite sure why that took 6 years. Chopper is a great movie, hilarious at times, but very deep. Where would I find that, Perry? I'm very, very interested. Where'd you guys find that? Carter's empathetic answer was the first time he saw the law enforcement agency has disclosed whether a person was or was not a suspect. Empathetic answer was the first time his law enforcement agencies disclosed whether a person was or was not a suspect. Rose has maintained that she does not know who would have wanted to set her or her kids on fire, even leading her to move away from Flora a year after this fire to get away from the horrible loss of her daughters. During that interview with Superintendent Carter, another point was raised about the comparison may have been made between the fire investigation and the probe into the Delphi passings. These are nothing alike. These are nothing alike. I believe that Delphi, there was an SEXUAL component to what happened to the girls. I don't see that here. This is not what I'm seeing. The February 2017 deaths of Abby Williams and Libby German at ages 13 and 14, respectively, in Delphi came just 3 months after the Flora fire took the lives of Kiana Davis, 11, Kiara Phillips, 9, Carrie-Elle McDonald, 7, and Kiani Welsh, 5. Carter called the comparison unfair and that the connecting an arson with very little information to a homicide that has developed over 80,000 tips is a unfair analogy. Mike Vernon, a former ATF fire investigator, had been inside the home and created a report investigating the fire as part of an ongoing wrongful death suit against the building's owner. So they did. They went after the company because they were saying that the fire detector was faulty in some way, or it wasn't running. Part of his report mentioned a next-door neighbor who rushed into the house the night of the fire before police or fire officials arrived. The neighbor was attempting to save the 4 girls before the smoke pushed him back. We came to our determination that it was a set fire, Vergen explained. Vergen added that he was confident in his assessment that and is set to be a potential witness in the upcoming wrongful death case. Galen Rose sent a statement. I have never understood why the house was still up. I hope this civil suit is able to provide some clarity for me and my family. The civil trial is scheduled for sometime in early 2024. So yeah, they're going after the owners of this place. First, they thought it was the fridge. And when it wasn't the fridge, they believe they found this accelerant. But either way, the smoke detector did not work. Yeah, they do like fire, but I don't see it. The population of Florida is 2,110. Yeah, Delphi, 2,972. Wonder what that arson rate is in the area. Very odd. I have not started looking into arsons in that area. Regarding this fire, What is the story behind this? I seen it was declared arson, but nobody has been arrested. Is that correct? Absolutely is correct. They're saying they have no suspects at this time. It's 7 years, going on 7 years. 2017, 18, 19, 20. 6 years right now. Yeah. Yes. So they all seem to have different fathers. They all have different last names, so I'm assuming they all have different fathers. And I don't know. I have no paperwork that's saying that they have contacted any of them. They could be keeping it, not keeping it under seal, but and I got lots of paperwork. I did not see anything about their fathers. Are you double trouble? It's just, these things happened so close together that it does give you pause, doesn't it? So this is that evening.
Today marks 5 years since 4 young sisters were killed in a Flora house fire. The fire was ultimately ruled an arson, but since that time, the case remains unsolved. As News 18 Samantha Tiki reports, many questions remain among the community members. And
there's one person who has some kind of business across the way, and she was she was saying that the house is just, at this point, it's just a horror for people to see. So the fact that they're bringing it down is a good thing. And like I said, I truly hope they do something nice with that property.
the leader of the state's NAACP.
November 21st is a dark day in the Carroll County town of Flora.
The loss of life of little girls were just devastating.
5 years ago, sisters 5-year-old Kiani Welch, 7-year-old Carrie L. McDonald, 9-year-old Kiara Phillips.
Yeah, see, they've all got different last names. So I'm not sure. I don't know if it would be, I found the death certificates. I just have not printed them off. So maybe that stuff would be in there. Might be worth looking into.
And 11-year-old Kiana Davis were killed when their house caught fire. Their mother, Galen Rose, was the only one to make it out of the burning home. Cassandra Hammond's business is across the street from where the burnt-out home still stands.
Oh, it's this one.
Is a very sad reminder of what took place in that house and the devastation that those girls must have went through.
The fire was ruled an arson in January of 2017, even though half a decade has passed.
So I'm just looking. If they brought these young girls out, where were they going to put them? There's no yard. Like would you just put them in this little section or something and make yourself like a crime scene tent?
The case remains unsolved.
It's very difficult to believe that nobody knows that this just fell into a black hole or something.
Indiana NAACP State Conference President Barbara Bowling Williams says they've been trying to help with the investigation.
So again, the little girls were trapped up here. I don't know what I think of that. I don't like it. I don't like it. That's the 3rd floor for little kids.
I think that a crime of this magnitude would not let people who have the power to find out what happened rest.
Bowling Williams says the NAACP reaches out to law enforcement regularly to follow up. She says investigators continue to stay tight-lipped.
So one thing I don't know is how long it took them to extinguish that fire, and then be able to retrieve the kids.
After all these years, why can't you discuss it in details? Perhaps using the media might help continue to shine some light on it and to get some resolution. If nothing else, these children.
They're just beautiful kids. Beautiful. Oh, let's see here, friends. Obviously, the different fathers would be suspects, or maybe a custody battle is in progress. Do you know what? That is very possible. There's only 10 miles between Delphi and Flora. So in 3 months, that little area lost 6 kids. I don't. Do you know what? I don't have the paperwork for things like that at this point. All I've got is from the start of the fire to now. I don't really have previous history. Carroll County Coroner's Office, Delphi, Indiana. Why take them to the firehouse? It's only 10 miles away. Yeah, you know, and there is lots of questions as to why they did what they did, because it was against everything. It was against all of their regulations, against all of their training. I wouldn't completely rule out a connection, but practically nothing but proximity appears to suggest that possibility. Yeah, that was going around quite a bit when this first happened, and she has been exonerated. So, yeah. Nope, mom survived. Mom survived the fire.
Children, these girls need some peace. They need some resolution.
Until that time comes, Hammond says the house is just a reminder of a tragic crime that hasn't been solved.
Hope that they find out the truth and that the girls get the justice that they deserve.
Samantha Tiki, News 18.
Indiana State Police Sergeant.
Yeah. November 21st is a dark day in the Carroll County town of Flora. The loss of life of the little girls was just devastating, said Flora's business owner, Cassandra Hammond. And that was just this gal here, right? Galen Rose, the mother, was the only one to make it out of the home. And I know she did try to get back in at one point when the cops were there, but they basically got her out of there. Ruled an arson in January of 2017. It's very difficult to believe that nobody knows. NAACP State Conference President Barbara Bowling Williams, like it just fell into a black hole or something. You'd think that a crime of this magnitude would not let people who have the power to find out what happens let this rest. After all these years, why can they not discuss in detail? This is the thing. Why are these people not getting any kind of... Again, look at how hard they went after Delphi to get Rick Allen. Hundreds of thousands of dollars were offered. These 4 children, $5,000. 5 for 4 children. So there is the $5,000, and if you happen to know anybody, you're asked to call 1-800-382-4628. So we want to share this one out, guys, because it's been too long. Maybe I'll talk to mom. Maybe, I don't know. What can a person do? Okay. So let's see here. This comes from Reddit. A chronological list of individuals that have either resigned or been reassigned in the aftermath of the Flora fire. You rock, Mexi. November 26, 2016 was the date of the fire. January 28th, 2017, the fire is determined to be intentionally set. June 23rd, 2017, Indiana Department of Homeland Security fire investigator Dennis Randall resigned. November 13th, 2017, Flora Volunteer Fire Department Fire Chief Adam Randall resigned. November 2017, same month, Carroll County Prosecutor Robert Ives, remember this? Resigns. January 25th, 2018, Indiana State Police Detective Greg Edwards is reassigned. December 31st, 2018, President of the Flora Town Council and co-owner of the Flora House, Joshua Ayers, I'm going to say again, ends his tenure as a councilman, choosing not to run for re-election. July 31st, 2020, Carroll County Superior Court Judge Curtis Fouts resigns. So there's a lot going on around this case, but nothing is happening. It's the most bizarre thing. Yeah, I know. Note to self, right, Chopper? Yeah, they did. I believed him. They did determine it was arson. They are saying that they found accelerants on one of the cops' uniforms from the kitchen, and they're saying that it was probably started in the kitchen with accelerants. That's kind of what it looks like. Sounds like the police have swept the case under the carpet, so to speak. Yeah. Yeah. It's sad. I mean, it's super, super sad. Okay, let's see here. Someone intentionally set the fire in their home and killed these 4 adorable sisters. Kiana Davis, 11, Kiara Phillips, 9, Carrielle McDonald, 7, and Keani Welsh, 5. So they lived at 103 East Columbia Street in Flora, Indiana, November 21st, 2016. The Flora Fire Department received a call about a house on fire around 4 a.m. When officers arrived at the scene, they found the 4 girls trapped in the home and Galen inside trying to save them. Galen Rose did everything she could to save her girls. She had to be pulled from the house, and Galen was flown to a hospital with serious injuries. She was hospitalized for several days. Carroll County Sheriff's Deputy Drew Yoder rushed into the house trying to save the girls multiple times. He was pulled out of the home by a Flora police officer. Deputy Yoder suffered critical injuries, and the officer who rescued him was treated and released. All 4 girls perished in the fire. Arson investigators initially believe the fire started behind a refrigerator in the kitchen. K9 units were brought in, and investigators announced that no accelerants were found in the home. Then in January 2017, authorities publicly announced the fire was intentionally set at multiple points of accelerants were found throughout the house. Okay, so K9s brought in, and they said no accelerants were found in the home. And then back in January 2017, they say that the fire was intentionally set. Multiple points of accelerations were found throughout the house. June 23rd, 2017, the Indiana Department of Homeland Security's fire investigators assigned to the Flora case, Dennis Randall, was reassigned and officially released a new ruling later the same day. The investigator amended their results to state accelerants were only found in 1 room of the house. So what the hell is that all about, guys? First there was none. Dog says none. And then they're saying that Oh no, multiple spots throughout the house. Dogs were wrong. And now they're saying one spot. I don't understand. I have a feeling these investigators either don't know what they are doing or their ego is too big to, oh, their ego is too big to ask for help. I found that thing I was looking for, post on short speculations. What's confusing is how did whoever enter this home without mom knowing? I think she might have been on another floor. I think, by the sounds of things, she was on a different floor. So she was able to get out, but not up the stairs, is what it sounded like. Yeah, that's what they're saying. And then Doug Carter just came out and said no. So I don't know, friends. I don't know what to think. So this is from the ISP. So this is the Indiana State Police. So on here, you can scroll down and there is stuff on the Delphi case, and there is also something on the Flora. Sadly, not a lot. Okay. I'm trying to, yeah. Okay, so again, $5,000. Kiana Davis, 11. Kiara Phillips, 9. Carrie Al McDonald, 7. And Keon Welsh, 5. Passed away in their home November 21st, 2016. And this was determined to be an arson fire. Call 1-800-382-4627. You can also mail P.O. Box 80132, Indianapolis, Indiana 46280. If you want, you can always scroll through this and get what you need as far as numbers and contact. But if you know something, see something, say something, as is always said. So this again goes through on Monday, November 21st, the Flora Department, Carroll County EMS, Flora Police, Carroll County Sheriff's Department, all responded to that house fire at 103 East Columbia Street, Flora, Indiana. It was determined to have been intentionally set. So again, they're saying that this was intentionally set. This is an ongoing investigation. And once again, do call 1-800-382-4628. A $5,000 reward is being offered. Yeah. So there's that, guys. There is that. Okay, so
fire in Flora, Indiana took the lives of 4 young sisters. All this time and still no arrests, but state police have said they will not give up. Samantha Johnson is in Flora this morning with where that investigation stands. Sam?
okay, so this is 6 years. So we're talking about 2022.
Well, Julia, this house still stands on the corner of Columbia and Division Streets, and it's here where these 4 young girls are still honored today. If you take a closer look here at the candles that line the front steps of this home, one with each of their names on it, 11-year-old Kiana Davis, 9-year-old Kiara Phillips, 7-year-old Carrielle McDonald, and 5-year-old Keani Welch. This morning, the investigation into exactly what happened here 6 years ago is still active.
So we've watched something very similar to this, and girls up here at the very, very top, and I do believe the mother was on this second floor, and then the main floor would have been living space.
And ongoing. That's according to Indiana State Police. In fact, Superintendent Doug Carter told our Bob Siegel he came here on his way to Delphi last month before announcing an arrest in that case. Superintendent Carter says the Delphi murders and this house fire are two very different cases.
Yeah, I guess a person cannot really compare the two cases because one is arson and one is, I think, has a different motive. I think I watched a thing about something that looks like it could be an accelerant, but it turns out that it wasn't, like gasoline or anything. But this fire truly could be accidental. They always go after the parents first. There must be a reason why they didn't. Well, they looked at her and then they basically just said that she was not involved. So I really don't. They were able to detect soot. They found it in their nose. They found it on their tongues. They found it on their teeth. They found it in their throats. Oh, were you? I was a firefighter for 16 years in Victoria as a volunteer bush firefighter in our local rural area. I did attend a few burning house fires, but mainly bush fires. Yeah, I've got a family of firefighters. A girlfriend of mine, she drives a big fire engine. It's amazing. She's been a firefighter for years. And yeah, she rides that great big one. She says she just loves working the sounds. Yeah, it's just something else.
But both tragic loss of life in very young people. This was top of mind when Carter visited this house 3 weeks ago today.
I sat across the street in that gravel lot and looked at that house that has the same exact remnants of a fire that we saw now almost 6 years ago this month. Boarded windows and black soot on the outside. And it just broke my heart that it was still there because I hadn't seen it in some time.
Superintendent Carter says he hopes he can soon make an announcement.
What do you guys think of Doug Carter? I know what James thinks, but what do you guys think? Yeah, gut feeling the mother, eh? Yeah. The children were on the third floor, and I think the mother was on the first or on the second, I think. They would be initial suspects, especially as no adults, but all the kids were deceased. Yes. I doubt whoever did this just walked through the wall to enter. Exactly. You know, small towns, is it possible though? Agreed. I'm sorry, but I don't like this cop. His handling of the Delphi was, and you know what I'm finding though, this seems to be very, very similarly. It's being dealt with very
here in
similarly.
Flora, just like he did over in Delphi. Now, as for this case, Indiana State Police say they are actively investigating every tip that comes in. This tip line is still open, and there is still a reward.
So again, just in case anybody sees this, you know, sometimes these get a little bit more reach. if you know anything about what happened, you need to say something. I don't care if it's anonymous, you need to say something. If it's the mother, I don't know. I really don't know. Carter says she's eliminated, so I guess you go with that. I don't know. I really don't know. Somebody needs to come forward.
Award up to $5,000 for any information leading to an arrest in this case. By the way, you can leave an anonymous tip, and we will have that link for you on our website, WTHR.com. We're live in Flora this morning. Samantha Johnson, 13 News.
Yeah. So these poor girls deserve a tiny bit of justice that would come from finding the culprit. It's heartbreaking, Perry. These little girls, and I don't want to think it's due to coloring. I choose not to think that. Oh my God. But these little girls, they need justice. I don't like how close he got to the Delphi victims' families, pressured, gaslit them into not criticizing the investigation, in my opinion. Yeah. What I want to know is, what is a superintendent? Like, what is his job? Didn't that doc mention he kicked the FBI off the case? So which case? Are we talking Delphi Blifton? Are you thinking, did he? Oh, it is. 4 little girls, $5,000, Douglas. Yeah. Unreal. And, how do you build that? The Delphi. Did he? I'm trying to remember. You've got a super memory, Blifton. Yeah. If they were 4 pretty blonde-haired, blue-eyed girls, I think we would all know this and be much higher profile case. Yeah. Had any of you guys really heard that this had happened? Yeah, who decides how much one is worth? Good call. Yeah, who is the person that's going out there saying your life is worth $1,200, $1,100? Are you kidding me? They were young. They had entire lives to live. Whoever it is, I mean, they need to, they need to come forward. Somebody needs to help. There is no way that a $5,000 is going to encourage anybody to rat anybody out on this kind of activity. You need to give them more motivation. Okay. So we've got right here is Libby's sister. That's Kelsey. This is just them coming out of court.
More real estate professionals list property.
Becky Patty is in the front. She just does not look like a happy camper. She looks sad. And Kelsey's pregnant. And she probably had it, or close to. And that's Mike, the grandpa.
How are you?
Right away in your box. So this is about Richard Allen. And the reason I decided to pull this one up is because it's talking about his confessions, Allen's confessions. Yes. Crime Stoppers puts up a reward if it comes from donations and it's not government funded. Okay. People tried to connect this to Delphi early on, but it went nowhere because I don't think it has anything to do with it. And in my opinion, I think it's two totally different things. Exactly, Perry. This is exactly the type of case that needs a high price reward. No leads, spending huge amounts on investigating, likely a local. Yes, that's my thoughts. Different than in Australia. Government puts up the reward dollars. Oh, wow. Okay. Can people add to it? I wonder why people can't just fire the officers. Yeah, that's a well said. Well said. I would have the FBI look into this instead of the local police. Yes. Nothing to do with Delphi. Agreed. Yeah. Oh, I'm in Victoria where the Snowy River meets the sea. And there are you. And where are you, Franky? That is one spot I've always wanted to go to. Okay, so this is basically just about Richard Allen confessing on the phone to his wife, and I do believe to his mother. So what they're trying to say in that great big document is that there's all of these Odinists they're in the jail. These Odinists are what happened to the girls. Everything's like just being put on Richard Allen for whatever reason he was just chosen, whatever, because they're saying he has no links to Odism. I don't think that it has anything to do with this other stuff that they're throwing at us. So let's see here. The Indiana man behind bars for allegedly attacking two teenage girls on a hiking trail in 2017 admitted to the gruesome deleting multiple times in prison phone calls with his wife and mother. Documents released Wednesday reveal. So the documents are out there. He did do this. Now they're trying to say he lied because of the Odinists in the jail threatening his family. Okay, Richard Allen allegedly told his wife, Kathy Allen, and his mother no less than 5 times that he was responsible for deleting 13-year-old Abby Williams, and 14-year-old Libby German after he found them hiking alone just outside their home town of Delphi more than 6 years ago. In one phone call, Kathy, who told reporters last week that her allegedly unaliving husband was her person. I remember hearing that. Why are you still here? Because he is my person. So I guess when he was doing this, she abruptly hung up the phone. Carroll County prosecutor Nicholas McClellan wrote in a June 13th filing that Allen made the admissions on a public jail phone that were available to the Indiana Department of Corrections. Investigators had the phone call transcribed, and the transcription confirms that Richard Allen admits he committed the deleting of Abby Williams and Libby German. In my mind, I cannot take this guy out of it. He says he was there. Nobody else says they're there. Why would he say he was there? Because 3 girls seen him. Possibly somebody seen him on the bridge. I don't know what to think of her statement anymore, and I don't know what to think of the woman who seen him on the highway, seen someone on the highway. I cannot wrap my head around the fact that they're trying to say that he was so good, so meticulous at this, that there was no DNA left behind. But then he left and walked down a public highway for everyone to see. No, it doesn't fit. It doesn't fit. Not in my mind. He's capable, in my personal opinion. And if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. I'll say it. But at first, I was just like, what the hell? And after reading these documents numerous times, I'm just not buying it. He admitted several times within the phone call that he committed the offenses as charged. The revelation was revealed after Allen County Judge Fran Gull, who was assigned to the case after the original judge recused himself, unsealed the motion describing the confessions along nearly 120 filings in the case. Attorneys for Allen, who was arrested in October of 2022 on 2 counts, admitted last week that the alleged deleter made, and he's saying those phone calls were made incriminating statements implicating himself in the crime, but argued that the confessions were a result of his declining mental state and from the abuse he was subjected to inside the correctional facility. Why would cops, literally, why would cops, guards, attack somebody that is so high profile? This just does not compute. I don't buy it. Why? What would even make yourself? What are the odds Keegan also admitting being in the area? Well, I think Keegan has more to say. For this to have worked for him to be a scapegoat, they would have had to have known the girl was going that day and Richard was going out the same time. Yeah. They would have to know that those 2 girls were going to be there. There's no proof anywhere of them being contacted. I want to know why you confessed several times over a phone. I also want to know why he's in prison and not jail. He hasn't had a trial. He is where he is because a lot of people wanted to hurt him. So they ended up putting him in a place that they thought he would be safe from attacks by other people. When you delete little kids, you're not treated that great. Yeah, not the brains. No, I'm sorry. I still have the Kleins in my mind involved in this. I cannot see how they catfished Libby, how Keegan Klein catfished Libby, got her to delete the stuff on her phone. He was the last conversation. And you're going to tell me some kind of cult got them? No. He had a drop-off box. Keegan had a drop-off box or a drop box. A very nasty things. I don't know. Maybe sometime I do have Keegan Klein's transcript. And if you guys ever want to go over it, just let me know because we can. We did go over Richard Allen's just a few days ago because with all this paperwork coming out, I really thought that looking back at his probable cause might not be a bad idea. Think tank. Yes, absolutely. Let's see here. I think one of those girls had its entire memory wiped or reset to factory settings, but it was done early that morning, so maybe she was instructed by Klein. That's what they have said, Perry, is that Keegan Klein told her to wipe her phone out, and she did. We have different opinions, and this is what can help solve a case. That is, yeah. Yeah. I mean, think tanking, all of us sitting here having a discussion is probably one of the more constructive ways because we all think differently. We all have different thoughts. Looking at all avenues. Keegan Klein was also known to boast about how he used the dark web, apparently tried and failed to sell the green in Vegas, so maybe he was selling more explicit merchandise. Do you know what? I think Keegan Klein is just disgusting. And I just cannot see where he is not involved. I just can't see it. He's gross. He's a gross guy. You have wondered where are all the pictures of Libby on Mona, and her sister says the girls went out that day to take pictures. Where are the pictures? A question that I heard back in the day that was kind of interesting. Yeah. So the unsealed documents included testimony from other inmates claiming both prisoners and guards constantly threatened to delete Allen, as well as suggest Allen deletes himself. Additionally, inmates alleged that the guard called Allen a kid deleter and taunted him by telling him he has no family visits when no one is there. The documents also reveal for the first time the investigators believe a knife was used to delete German and Williams, whose bodies were discovered in a rugged, heavily wooded area near the trail where they had disappeared a day before. Autopsies of the girls ruined their deaths as homicides, and their wounds were caused by a sharp object. Though authorities never confirmed how German and Williams were deleted, a probable cause affidavit that was unsealed after Ellen's arrest stated that the police found an unspent round near the bodies that was later matched to one of Ellen's guns. So this is when they arrested Richard Allen. And they give this big talk. Additionally, investigators discovered that articles of clothing from the girls were missing from the scene, including a pair of underwear and a sock. So, trophies? Allen, who pleaded not guilty to the deleting, first talked to investigators in 2017 after he admitted he had been on the trail the same day German and Williams went missing. Though he was not looked at seriously until 2022, community members say Allen and Kathy would regularly talk about the teens and how much of a tragedy it was. He has no criminal record at the time, and he was involved in one domestic incident in 2015. So I just find it very, very interesting that one case got all the attention, one case didn't. You know, talking about whether or not the Flora case has anything to do with the Delphi case. I mean, it is going around. Personal opinion, no, not in my personal opinion. I've also decided I'm going to wait a little bit longer as far as that paperwork goes, and we'll see if you guys want to go through it. But everybody else is putting out those documents. So I just don't know. Yeah, it's all about the money. Yes. I believe they were there to meet somebody or somebodies. I think so. I think so. I always say to disagree. Sorry, I always say to agree to disagree, but it's true differences help solve cases. Absolutely. There is the only wrong answer in this think tank is a rude answer. Honestly, there is no wrong answers because we don't know. We are going off of our life experiences and we're all going to look at it differently based on those life experiences. Keegan Kline was also known to boast about how he used rape. Okay. I think everybody that tries to make a profit off of victims are disgusting too. I've seen some channels that do it, by the way. Yeah. Yeah. There are some channels that just are not, they're not ethical in my mind. But freedom of speech, I guess. I don't know. There's absolutely some I won't watch. Like as soon as I hear the voices, it's like, yeah. Yep. Animals are the best people. Oh, did he? Okay. Duty Ron had a good live stream about this. So there is the link, and it's also on Discord. Thank you very much. Yeah. Oh, yeah, Chopper. Yeah, she did. Yeah, and she was charging for those. Discord, you have to pay. And why? Why? Yep. Yep. Yeah, it's I just seen her actually back online for the first time yesterday. So, hopefully something's learned, right? A lot of times I will get those just for information, but I definitely do not put them out to share. I might go, oh, well, I learned there was a broken bone, or, oh, I learned this, but I'm not going to go, you can't. It's just, you can't. And this is what I'm having problems with this big document that was just put out with this case. There's so many names in there that, in my opinion, should never have been released. What they did by putting that out, like, I know that one of them is already like having to shut down accounts and stuff. And this guy's like mentally handicapped. Yeah. I don't think I could return to streaming if I did this. No, she didn't have a lot of views, but I don't know. A big boo-boo. That was a big boo-boo, right? Yeah. Yeah. So guys, that's what I had set up for today's stream. I wanted us to kind of look at the Flora case and look at the Delphi case and find out what we all think about if there is any kind of connection. And I think we are all pretty much, I mean, maybe, but I really don't think so. I think that they need to work harder on upping the reward. 5 grand? What? No. When things start going missing or never existed, that's a problem. Like RA's interviews, the bullet photo. Yeah. Yeah. It's going to be interesting. It is going to be interesting. I'm going to be curious to see how the prosecution responds to this. You know, what I learned yesterday is basically what they did on that was just give their interpretation of what they think they saw. So it does not mean that it's gospel. It's part of the game, and it's I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it. So guys, thanks very much again for hanging out with me. I appreciate it. Just about my head's clearing up. I'm not as ucky as I was. They have a court to demolish. They have a court to demolish that house. If they haven't already, it's nice to get an independent group that'll look at the Flora house before, if they haven't already, to tear it down. Yeah. Yeah, one last go through maybe? Is that what you're thinking? Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So guys, thank you very much for hanging out with me. I appreciate it. I hope you enjoyed today's stream. I hope we learned something. So I am going to take a look a little bit deeper into some other parts of some other tentacles to this case and see what we can come up with. So I will see you guys soon in the next one. Bye.